it doesn't just stop with the big names up top. It's going to affect you as well. So you may have heard about this guy. His name is Hasan Piker. Now, I don't really know that much about Hasan. He's this very small streamer. Not a lot of people know about him, and he's been getting a little bit of some publicity, you could say. In a way, I mean, any publicity is good publicity, as they say. Any exposure is good exposure, but it's a little weird. It's a little weird in this case how much exposure, how much attention is being drawn to him compared to everything else when it comes to politics, because aren't we at war right now? I'm pretty sure we're at war, right? Even though we really shouldn't be. You know, I haven't made a video in months, and that was mostly due to the fact that I was making a big video on my second channel that I hope you check out. Hopefully I don't have to do that again in terms of just not making any other videos, but I kind of had to in order to just get it done. But ever since I kind of took a pause from making these sort of videos, everyone was just talking about Hasan Piker, and not the right wing, not people on the right. I mean, they're always kind of talking about him, but it didn't get to the point where Fox News would not just shut up about this guy. Surprisingly, nobody, people from CNN and left-leaning sources that are more establishment Democrats, you know, they don't exactly like that this guy is becoming more prominent, because you know, he's pushing back against the party, wanting it to be more than just the controlled resistance, which the Democrats are. They don't really do much in terms of actually trying to get in the way of the Trump regime and its evil ways. They just don't. They mildly push back. They might see a few mean things on Twitter or in interviews, but actions speak louder than words, and they are just chirping like a little mouse. They're just, you know, he's a bad guy, and we really need to stop him. It's doing nothing. It's just all words from people like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, who calls him like Taco Trump. Why does he call him that? I never understood that. Why does he call him Taco Trump? It's so dumb. Like, are you trying to do what Trump does to his opponents? Like, taking it back? It's stupid. It's a stupid name. Just call him a fucking asshole and actually do something. But, you know, instead of doing anything about that, they rather just be like, hey, this guy, he actually wants this party to change and has been giving platforms to people who are more left-wing than us, to the left of us. He's a bad guy. We need to stop him. We shouldn't stop the evil government. We shouldn't, you know, really put our focus on them and really go after them, because we're controlled by billionaires who are friends with him and like the stuff that he's doing. So we'll just, you know, repeat these talking points. We'll be a bit harsh with him, but, you know, it's not all bad. And obviously they don't like that he's, you know, anti-Zionist. That's a key part of it. And for the most part, it was just, you know, places like CNN and shit like that. And I thought this was all going to blow over once they realized that this isn't a popular opinion to hold. First of all, who cares about a guy who is a streamer who holds these opinions? You know, like, I thought it was going to go the way of like Nick Fuentes, where like he was the hot topic for the media sphere for probably like a week when people really discovered him, but then it was just going to go the wayside and nobody was going to care thereafter. Like, he's just a name in the ether at that point, and that's what he is now. He's just another name. He shouldn't be. Nobody should know who he is, because he is very much a fringe character, but he's been doing his best to try to seem like a logical person, unfortunately, and it's done good for him. But I thought that's what was going to happen with Hasan, is that he was just going to be in the news cycle for maybe about a week. But ever since I kind of took my break, they just won't stop talking about him. And here's the thing, this is nothing new when it comes to political discussion online, but the thing is that it's not just online anymore. It's on Fox News, it's on CNN. It's breached containment. You know, this discussion about Hasan Piker, whether he's this dangerous figure or not, it broke containment from where it originally stemmed from and just went to these mainstream sources. And because these left, you know, center left wing establishment like news shows and publications and all that are now talking about him, the right has picked up on that, and it's just like, oh, us too. Now we're gonna do it, to the point that Fox News, and this was just a couple of days ago, this little post that was made. Fox News has now covered Hasan Piker for 25 days straight, more than any politician in the Democratic Party.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker.
And if one of those names seemed a little familiar to you in the way that they spoke, if you kind of squint your eyes here, right over here, you will see John Fetterman, who seems like a regular guest host. A regular guest at Fox News nowadays. I wonder why. But yeah, CNN, the center left, they opened the floodgates to the point where now he's just a frequent talking point for these people. And the thing is, the thing that makes CNN and all these, again, center-left publications so dumb is that they think that the right cares enough to differentiate the two. That, oh, he's not a part of the Democrats and stuff like that. Oh, obviously he's a separate thing. No, they're just going to lump you in together anyways. They're just going to use this as a way to just continue to go after the left. And be like, look how bad they are. Look, this proves us all right, that you're just these lunatics or whatever. But going back to what I was saying earlier, is that, again, this is not anything new of people being like, oh, Hasan is dangerous, by using clips out of context to twist his words. Like, for example, the Rick Scott clip. And here's the thing, with that clip, it very much is like, you strip any context of it, it does sound bad. If you truly believe that he was issuing a death threat against Rick Scott, then yeah, it sounds like that. But there is a thing called hyperbolic language, where you use extreme words even though you don't mean the exact meaning of them, and that's what he used there. And that has been pushed 100% with these sort of campaigns against it. And I just am making this little video not as like a defense of Hasan Piker. He doesn't need my defense, and I'm not really here to offer that. I'm not going to go bit by bit breaking down, oh, this is what they got wrong about this and this and this. Hasan has done it himself. I don't care about that. I just care about the fact that we shouldn't be talking about him because it's stupid. Because it's a dumb thing to do when there are so many things going on in the world nowadays that people just should be caring about way more than some Twitch streamer. And I don't really think this is as effective as they think it is. The people who know about Hasan and don't like him are not going to have their minds changed by this video. And people who were already not going to like him because of his worldview, they're already not going to like him. They don't really need to know who he is. And I don't think they care either way. They're like, oh, it's just some dude. Like, he's not a politician. He's not, some financial backer. He's just a dude with a podcast. Because, like, most people, like, especially older people, don't know what live streaming is. They can't really grasp the concept of it. But they will just know, like, oh, he's just like a political pundit. He's like one of those news guys. That's it. They don't know. They don't care. He holds no significant power. So I just don't see how effective this is really going to be unless you're someone on the fringes, or if you're just an average person. But even then, you're still not going to really care. Like, unless you're really into like politics and you're like this centrist, maybe you're the person that grasps. But the reason why they're doing this, in my opinion, and I think it's a really good opinion, is because they're not trying to get more people on the bandwagon to hate this guy. Because I don't think it's going to work. Maybe that's a part of it, and they're just kind of realizing that it's not working. Because, like, nobody cares. Like, if I were to ask my family, do they know Hasan Piker? I would honestly be surprised if they said yes. Like, my family are average Joes. They don't really care about politics all that much. They might bring it up every now and again, but they don't care. They hold conservative views. That sucks, but what am I going to do? They're not going to change their minds about that. But for the most part, they don't really care enough to talk about politics even around one another, knowing that they have similar worldviews. They don't care that much. And I don't necessarily think that people like that, like the average Joes, are going to care about some dude with a news show, with a news stream or whatever. But the reason why I think Fox and all these different publications are just hyper-focusing on Hasan is because you can't really defend what's going on, can you? I mean, you can, and they try, but the world sucks. America, I mean, it's always kind of sucked in different ways, but especially sucks now. There's nothing like you can really point to as a good example of like what the Trump administration is doing in a way that really impacts people's lives. Because what they're doing, like the biggest things that they've been doing, we're at war that nobody wanted this war, and as time goes on, less people want it. You have ICE going into cities, tearing people away from their families, brutalizing innocent people, and some people unfortunately are all in on that, but a lot more people will see stuff like that and just they'll see TikToks, they'll see videos that people recorded of ICE doing this shit, and even if they voted for Trump, they're a big Trumper, and even if they think that they wanted this, when they see it with their own eyes, they realize that they don't want this, that this is brutal, that this is inhumane. And I think Fox is just trying to find something that they can just steer people's attention away from. Don't be so focused on all this Gestapo shit. Don't be focused on this warmongering and shit. Be more focused on this random dude. And that's what I think it really just boils down to. It's just like he's just, the person you point your finger at when things go wrong. It's like, oh, you don't like what we're doing? Well, what about that guy? That guy sucks, right? And it has gotten to this point where, well, it's gotten to two different points in the sense of he is now a scapegoat for any political violence, and now he is being targeted against when it comes to congressmen. But we'll probably get to that second. First, I want to talk about people going after him following the White House correspondence shooting. Well, attempted shooting. He didn't really get anyone. So I was probably going to cover this first instead of doing this, but the weird thing about this shooting is that nobody gave a shit about it. Like, I remember the day that it happened and the following days after it, I was literally like waiting for posts from like my family and friends who I know are very conservative, who usually would post about stuff like this. Nothing. They do not give a fuck, man. They really don't care, and that's just pretty wild. I was surprised. They like just did not, and just because they're not posting doesn't mean they don't care. But like, there was this dude who went to this dinner and tried to shoot up the place, got stopped. Like, even that I feel like would be enough. But I guess they just didn't really care. And I was honestly just surprised by how many people didn't care. And as a matter of fact, just like completely went with the whole it's a psyop thing, which I honestly was just like, you know what? I'm just not going to make the video. I feel like this just kind of handled itself and I don't really need to talk about it. So what happened after the shooting is immediately, amongst many things, like a lot of these people, these accounts being like, this is why Trump needs the ballroom, doing that randomly out of nowhere. And we know why. It's because they're all in a group chat together. Maybe not all of these people, but there's plenty of like Republican influencers, talking heads that were just like immediately, as soon as it happened, this is why we need the ballroom. And it didn't really help that Trump in the press conference he did afterwards was just like, yeah, that's why we need the ballroom, you should all get on board on the ballroom. Like, you can't blame people for being skeptical when shit like this happens. When you are almost in a situation where your life was on the line, and the first thing you go to is, well, this wouldn't happen if you guys would just get on board with this thing that I desperately want you guys to just be on board with. But the second thing that happened after that is that they all went to point the finger at Hasan. So you had people like Laura Loomer, who's been going on a tear with Hasan. Same with Michael Knowles, who is just dying to stay relevant. Well, the Daily Wire just crumbles. Drew Pavlov, who is... He's just like... He's a nobody. That's the thing. He's just an annoying nobody, though. He's such an annoying nobody who's just... Like, all he does is tweet. He doesn't have a job.
So that I can do... Get that fucking profile low, okay? Before you go get a fucking job.
I don't care about a job. I'm just
Oh,
trying...
fucking bullshit. I'm not paying for you to see your life, dickhead.
I'm fighting for what's right. That's why...
Just keep your fucking profile down before you won't get hired by anybody.
I don't care about the school line. I'm going
Who's
to...
gonna pay for Andrew?
I'm going to be fine. I'm protesting tomorrow.
It's so sad and pathetic. But immediately, they're just like, it's Hasan's fault. Is this a good time to mention that the Democrats' new darling Hasan Piker said he wanted the blood of his political opponents to run in the streets, and recently justified the murder of an innocent father because he ran a health insurance company. Shooter is a brown, light-skinned, black Democrat from California who is also a teacher. How much do you want to bet he's a Hasan Piker fan? I've seen enough to arrest Hasan Piker. Anyone know where Hasan Piker is right now? Just, all in all, just coming full force, being like, oh, it's his fault, we need to arrest him. But it turns out the attempted shooter was not a Hasan Piker fan. Newly surfaced tweets from Cole Allen reveal he hated Hasan Piker, the far left, and pro-Palestine protesters. So this is Cole Allen. Yeah, so he was a Blue Sky user. People speculated at first that this was his account, but yeah, it definitely is. It's the same. So like he retweeted this post that was in response to Hasan saying that he wasn't going to vote for Gavin Newsom or whatever. That whole country, which was so dumb. Like, he hasn't even said he's going to run for president. I mean, more than likely he is. But like doing a pledge, doing a vote Bloom no matter who, when we're far off from that race, is just so fucking stupid. But yeah, so here are some other tweets or posts, whatever Blue Sky calls them. I spend a lot of time in countries where grifting are the norm, and I assure you it is worth a truly immense cost to prevent that from taking hold in our society. You do not want to live in that kind of society. With a picture of Hasan. The Palestine protesters are functionally speaking Republicans, and this is him retweeting that. I find far right and far left dipshits who say, I just want the war to stop offensive. Do you think Ukrainians don't want... And it just kind of continues on. I'm guessing say like Ukrainians don't want to stop the war too. My position on Gaza is nuanced. My position on what's happening to Jews at home is not. This is no different than the cake. Oh my god. Yeah, so he was like a Kamala Harris voter who just hated pro-Palestine protesters. He also criticized Arab voters in Dearborn, Michigan who didn't vote for Kamala Harris over the genocide of Gaza. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to just give up the last 85 years of civil rights and put my voting rights in jeopardy because 1% of the population in Michigan is upset over a decades-long conflict on the other side of the world that has nothing to do with me or my community. Jesus Christ. So yeah, he was, he was like a center-left guy. So, people like running to point the finger at Hasan. I mean, it's not going to stop them. That's the thing. They don't care about the truth. You think Republicans care about the truth? How cute. But this has gone farther than just some tweets, as we now have representatives from both the left and the right putting a resolution condemning anti-Semitic rhetoric from prominent online personalities, with the biggest two, or I believe that the only ones mentioned being Hasan and Candace Owens, which I know Hasan has spoken on this, but I'm going to repeat it because I do believe it is the case. If this was just him, if Candace's name was not on this would be passed immediately. Because I do think this resolution will be held off because Republicans are not going to want to, lose any favor by going against Candace Owens. So we'll see. So yeah, this resolution condemning anti-Semitic hate-filled rhetoric and content disseminated by prominent online personalities and urging social media platforms and public leaders to denounce and address such conduct. It's a waste of time. That's what it is. It's just a way to pressure platforms like YouTube and Twitch to be like, hey, just deplatform the guy, just don't talk about him. Don't allow him to broadcast off of your services. Hasan Piker, a prominent online streamer, has often used anti-Semitic rhetoric, including expressing support for Hamas, a designated foreign terrorist organization. In August 2019, during a stream on Twitch, Hasan Piker stated America deserved 9/11. Again, a frequently clip taken out of context where he's talking about the idea of blowback, which is supported by academics. Another one, Hasan Piker referred to Orthodox Jews as inbred. He was talking about the Zionists that were raiding aid trucks that were supposed to be going to Palestinians. He was calling them inbred. They just so happened to be Orthodox Jews. It's the same as like calling the Ku Klux Klan. It's the same thing as calling like the KKK inbred. Like you're calling terrorists inbred. That's what they are. They were trying to stop aid violently from getting to Palestinians. Hasan Piker downplayed sexual violence committed by Hamas. It doesn't matter if rapes happen on October 7th. Like that doesn't change that dynamic for me. Yeah, because it doesn't change the fact that these people shouldn't be genocided. Like sexual violence does not mean you get to genocide an entire population. That's something that everyone can support. If sexual violence took place on October 7th, the people who did that sexual violence should face the crimes for it. You don't get to kill women and children because of that. People who had nothing to do with it. If some dude was to go out and just assault a random woman sexually, and he just so happens to have a wife and a child, that doesn't mean you get to just shoot the wife and the child. You punish the guy who did it. So stupid. Hasan Piker has expressed support for Hamas on multiple occasions, yada yada, we already know this stuff. It goes into Candace Owens, and here's the thing. Candace Owens is anti-Semitic. I mean, she just is. So, it is valid to, kind of go after her in a sense. But, again, a good amount of the stuff they go after her for is just anti-Israel, it's anti-Zionist shit. In this one right here. On February 1st, 2026, Candace Owens posted on X an anti-Semitic claim that the United States is controlled by satanic pedophiles who work for Israel. Now, I'm not sure about this part. I'm not sure who they're worshiping, but this part is literally right. There is so much proof to show that this is correct. Literally, the president was best friends with the biggest pedophile of them all. It's also so open of a fact of how much Israel just plays a role in our politics. You can't convince, this is not going to convince the random person, oh, these are bad people that we need to really condemn and take care of. Most people will see this part right here and just be like, yeah, I'm sorry, she said the truth. We need to punish people who say the truth now. But then, they get into this part, during a podcast appearance on December 8th, 2025, Owens reported false claims that Jews are killing Christian children as part of religious rituals, and that Jewish texts and traditions promote the essay of children, which is an anti-Semitic trope constituting a blood libel. They get into the weird shit, but again, lumping it in with a dude who was just hey, SV does not mean you get to genocide an entire people. Lumping as if it's the same thing. It's wild. There is definitely credible stuff, at least with Candace Owens, that you could probably go after of being hey, we need to address this. But I don't even think that should be done like this, where it's a resolution that Congress is supposed to pass. The pressure should be on YouTube to be why do you platform this woman? Why do you allow this woman on your platform? Why does she have a live stream and a show on your platform? But the real reason why they're doing this isn't because of any anti-Semitism. It's because of, being anti-Zionist. I mean, it's obvious at this point. Everyone knows that. Most people don't see a difference now. That's the problem. Mostly because of the way that our government and our, news sources, have talked about this stuff for, ever since October 7th. They just try to, sweep it under the rug of being well, Israel is just trying to defend itself against the mean, bad Palestinians, so they, gotta murder them all. But because of sources like TikTok, which eventually led to the government putting pressure on China selling TikTok, they made it so that that's not easily available. But the damage has already been done. People have seen videos upon videos of children being disfigured, blown up, of children and women just being bombed, to the point where you can't really go back on this. And as time goes on, people are being less supportive of Israel. And it's because they know they can't trust the news anymore. They know they can't trust the politicians anymore when it comes to stuff like this. With this resolution right here, they say that anti-Semitic incidences have significantly increased, including a 344% increase over the past 5 years. You know where this number comes from? It comes from sources like the ADL. It comes from pro-Israel sources that include anti-Semitic incidences as from a long range of truly anti-Semitic attacks to just pro-Palestine protesters who are in the vicinity of a Jewish person. That's it. If you're pro-Palestine and you just so happen to be near a Jewish person who, isn't already on your side already, because there are Jewish people who are anti-Zionist. But if you're in the presence of maybe not even a pro-Zionist Jew, a Zionist Jew, but just a Zionist in general, that's anti-Semitic. That's essentially what they draw their metrics over. It's insane. So yeah, it's it's incredibly stacked number filled with fake incidences and some real ones too. Yeah, there are definitely, real anti-Semitic incidences that occur ever since October 7th. But why those started to rise up? It's because of people like this, people on the right and people on the left, who are constantly being oh, if you're anti-Israel, if you're anti-Zionist, if you're anti-genocide of Palestinians, you are anti-Semitic. That's what happens. That's how we got to this point. But yeah, what was this video about? Oh yeah, it's it's about a Turkish live streamer. Jesus Christ. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this, again, like I said, funny enough, I'm making a video about how we just should stop talking about this guy. But I also really wanted to say is that the fact that this resolution is even a thing, when there's so much else that Congress could be focusing on, I think it's just indicative of where this government's, both in terms of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, where their focus is. It's not on fixing your needs. It's not on, addressing concerns you have, trying to make your day-to-day life easier. It's about controlling what you say and do. And essentially what I wanted to say is that even if you don't like Hasan Piker, even if you, clicked on this video because you thought I was going to rip into Hasan or whatever, maybe if you thought that, well, hate to break it to you, but I'm not. If you couldn't tell already. But I hope you realize, even if you don't like this guy, even if you don't like Hasan, if these politicians are trying to make this resolution to add more pressure on what he can say and other political content creators, they're not going to stop there. They're going to go to you. They might start at Hasan, but they're not going to end with Hasan. Eventually it'll get to you. Eventually you can't say that you think that Israel is committing a genocide. You have to say they're committing a war or they have a right to exist. You can't say anything opposing that, because once they put the pressure on, big names on these platforms, they'll do it to the little guy too. Like, this doesn't just affect one streamer. It is putting pressure on the freedom of speech. That's what it's doing. So even if you don't like the guy, this still will affect you. It doesn't just stop with the big names up top. It's going to affect you as well. And I think it's so idiotic that when we're in a world where everything's getting more expensive, where it's just harder to live your life day to day, the fact that there's even people on the left considering this. And again, this resolution was being pushed by both a Democrat and Republicans. The fact that this is even a thing at all, it should tell you that these people don't give a fuck about us, if you couldn't tell that already. And we should push back against this sort of stuff, not in defense of Hasan, just in defense of, hey, we got you to this place. Do what we want you to do. Just do that. Don't worry about some dude. Worry about the fact that I can't afford groceries. The fact that so many people are struggling to just live their life because they have to pay so much money just for a place to shelter. It's so stupid. But yeah, that's all I really gotta say. I hope you enjoyed this video. I do want to get back into making these more because it's just a great way for me to get my opinion out and just talk about these things. But also, I just really like making them. I don't know. Again, check out my second channel for my video about Michael Bay's Transformers. It's something that I really do want to do more of, but I don't want it to hurt this channel as much. I still want to do stuff on here, but I want to I want to explore more, essentially, in terms of video making. I don't think I'll ever make that style of video, that more like video essay type stuff here, just because honestly, I don't think I'm the right person for it, if I'm going to be completely honest. I'll save that stuff for like the FD signifiers of the world. They can handle that. He's great. You should check him out if you haven't already. But I do like doing this stuff, and I really worked hard on that video. Again, I want to try to find a better balance where I can still make these videos as well as making that. But with how long that took me on top of everything else in my life, it's just gonna be a lot harder. So hopefully, if you like this video, you'll subscribe, you'll stay on this journey with me. I'd love to keep growing this channel. I do really want to do more stuff here. But once again, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.